What's up, Skull Nation? Buckle up, because the Minnesota Vikings are about to make a quarterback decision that could define the next decade of Vikings football. And just when we thought the J.J. McCarthy era was set in stone, NFL insider Tom Pelissero drops a list that shakes everything up. We're talking about Kirk Cousins, Mac Jones, Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, for very different quarterbacks, for very different futures, and one massive question. What are the Minnesota Vikings really planning? Stay with me, because this isn't just another rumor cycle. This is the kind of off-season storyline that turns into training camp battles, front office chess moves, and maybe even a franchise-altering decision. Let's start with the obvious truth. The Vikings are adding a quarterback this offseason. Whether it's a veteran to mentor J.J. McCarthy or someone to actually compete with him, it's happening. Kevin O'Connell knows how important that room is. We've seen what happens when depth isn't strong enough. Minnesota Vikings news has made it clear. Stability at quarterback is non-negotiable. But here's where it gets interesting. Is this about insurance? Or is this about real competition? Let's talk about the name that instantly divides the fan base, Kirk Cousins. The former face of the franchise. The man who carried this team for years. In 2023, Cousins ranked 5th in the NFL in EPA per play before his Achilles injury. That's elite production. But by 2024, his ranking plummeted to 30th among qualified quarterbacks. So what do we believe? The pre-injury efficiency machine? Or the post-injury regression? The financial angle changes everything. Reports indicate Atlanta has already paid Cousins heavily for 2026, meaning any new contract could come at a discount. And let's be honest, Vikings fans didn't just debate Cousins' performance. They debated his cap hit. If he comes back at backup money, does the narrative shift? If he's affordable and flexible in role, does that soften the resentment that followed him from 2018 to 2023? Now imagine the scenarios. Option 1. Cousins walks in as the Week 1 starter. Option 2. Open competition with McCarthy. Option 3. Pure veteran insurance. Each path sends a completely different message to the locker room. And to us, the fans. Would bringing Kirk back stabilize the Minnesota Vikings? Or would it reopen old debates we thought were closed? Now let's pivot to Mac Jones, because this one might surprise some of you. In 2025 with San Francisco, Jones went 5-3 in 8 starts. Project that over a full season and you're looking at for 500-plus yards, close to 30 touchdowns, and a completion rate near 70%. That's borderline top 15 production. Those numbers aren't fantasy. They're comparable to Sam Darnold's 2024 season, the same year Minnesota finished 14-3. And here's the key question. What would it cost? San Francisco isn't just giving away competent quarterback play. If the price is a first or second round pick, are the Vikings willing to pay that? That's not just a football decision, that's a roster-building philosophy decision. Does Minnesota believe Jones is a long-term answer? Or just a high-end bridge? Now let's talk upside. Let's talk electricity. Let's talk Kyler Murray. Over 7 seasons, Murray's efficiency metrics, EPA plus CPOE, stack up favorably against names like Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, and even C.J. Stroud. He's dynamic. He's accurate. He can extend plays in ways very few quarterbacks can. Arizona's situation makes this fascinating. New coaching direction. Only 1 playoff appearance in 7 years. Change feels possible. And if Murray hits the market, even via trade, he instantly becomes one of the most talented quarterbacks realistically available to the Minnesota Vikings. Former number 1 overall pick. Elite mobility. Arm strength. Playmaking ability that stresses defenses every single snap. Yes, the height will always be mentioned. But on Sundays, production matters more than perception. Now let's look at Geno Smith, the steady veteran, the late career resurgence story. Since becoming Seattle's starter in 2022, Smith revived his career with over 4,200 yards and 30 touchdowns in his breakout year. He brings experience, nearly 100 career starts, and that matters in a quarterback room with a young prospect. His record isn't sparkling at 42-56, but context matters. He's proven he can operate efficiently in the right system. If Las Vegas drafts a quarterback early, Geno could become available. And as a bridge or competition piece, he makes logical sense. He's not flashy like Murray. He's not polarizing like Cousins. But he might be the safest option. So where does this leave the Minnesota Vikings? For names, for timelines, for different risks. Are we protecting J.J. McCarthy? Are we challenging him? Or are we quietly hedging against uncertainty? This is the moment where Kevin O'Connell and the front office show us how much belief they truly have in their young quarterback. Because actions speak louder than press conferences. Now I want to hear from you, Skull Nation. If you had to choose today, Cousins, Jones, Murray, or Smith, who are you bringing to Minnesota? Is this about upside, stability, value, championship window? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate it like true Vikings fans, and keep the Minnesota Vikings news conversation alive. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for daily Vikings coverage, and share this with every diehard fan you know. This offseason is heating up, and we're covering every twist, every rumor, every move. Skull, and I'll see you in the next one. But hold on, Skull Nation, because this quarterback conversation goes even deeper than just 4 names on a list. This is about identity. This is about direction. This is about what kind of Minnesota Vikings team we're building for 2026 and beyond. Are we building around patience and development? Or are we accelerating the timeline? Let's zoom back in on J.J. McCarthy for a second. Remember, this was a first-round investment. A quarterback drafted to eventually lead the franchise. The Vikings coaching staff has consistently praised his football IQ, mobility, and leadership traits. But development isn't linear in the NFL. Bringing in real competition could sharpen him. Or it could create pressure that changes the trajectory entirely. That's why the type of veteran matters. A Cousins reunion would feel familiar, almost poetic. But would it stunt McCarthy's growth if the locker room gravitates back to the proven veteran? Mac Jones presents a different dynamic. He's young enough to compete long-term, but experienced enough to push immediately. If Jones wins the job, that's not a mentorship situation. That's a full-on quarterback pivot. And that tells us the Vikings might not be as locked into McCarthy as we think. Now Kyler Murray. That's a statement move. That's front-page headline energy. That's saying, we're not waiting. We're attacking the NFC right now. Imagine Kevin O'Connell designing an offense around Murray's mobility, Justin Jefferson's route running, and a creative run-pass option system. That's explosive potential. That's defensive coordinators losing sleep. But with that upside comes risk, draft capital, cap implications, and adapting the entire system. Geno Smith, on the other hand, is the controlled approach. He represents stability, professional, someone who won't panic if thrown into action. He gives you a competitive quarterback room without completely hijacking the McCarthy development plan. And let's be honest, not every offseason decision has to be flashy. Sometimes the smartest move is the one that keeps the floor high while the ceiling develops. Here's the underlying theme in all of this. The Vikings don't want to be caught unprepared again. We've seen seasons derailed by injuries. We've seen how quickly momentum can shift. Adding a quarterback isn't optional. It's strategic insurance. But insurance policies come in different price ranges. Cousins at a discount could be the ultimate value play. Jones could cost premium draft capital. Murray could require a blockbuster-level commitment. Smith might be the most affordable balance between talent and cost. So what's the front office prioritizing? Cap flexibility? Draft picks? Immediate contention? Or are they betting everything on McCarthy and simply adding protection? Another factor we can't ignore, the NFC landscape. If you look at the conference, there are elite quarterbacks at the top. To compete consistently, the Minnesota Vikings need high-level quarterback play. Not average. Not safe. High level. Does McCarthy give you that in 2026? Maybe. Does Murray raise your ceiling instantly? Possibly. Does Cousins give you familiarity with a lower financial burden? That's intriguing. Does Jones offer controlled aggression? That's strategic. And this is why Tom Pelissero's report isn't just gossip. It's a window into the Vikings' internal evaluation. When insiders drop names like this, it means conversations are happening. It means Minnesota is exploring every avenue. And as fans, we should appreciate that aggression. Because complacency in the NFL gets you left behind. Now I want you to picture training camp. 2 quarterbacks splitting reps with the ones. Media buzzing. Teammates watching closely. Every throw dissected. That competition alone could elevate the entire roster. Iron sharpens iron. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real plan here. Not replacing McCarthy. Not crowning a veteran. But creating an environment where the best quarterback wins. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about sentiment. It's about hoisting a Lombardi trophy. It's about turning potential into results. And the Minnesota Vikings know the window doesn't stay open forever. So Skull Nation, I'm asking you one more time. What's the boldest move? What's the smartest move? Drop your quarterback choice in the comments right now. Let's get this debate trending across Vikings Nation. If you're riding with the purple every single day, hit that like button, subscribe for non-stop Minnesota Vikings news, and share this with every fan who bleeds purple and gold. The quarterback domino is about to fall, and when it does, we'll be right here breaking it all down. Skull.